to have you on. What a topic. We're still arguing about this during the ad break, actually, unconscious bias and is justice colourblind. But look, next topic here, Suffrage Day yesterday, 123 years since New Zealand women got the vote, the first country in the world to do so. Look, are we still ahead in women's rights? What do you think? Let's go to you, Sarah, first. Is it good to be a woman in Aotearoa in 2016?
Well, I think so. There's a lot of opportunities out there, and we've done pretty well, but there's still a way to go. So there's still a gender pay gap, and we need to work on that.
Are you a feminist?
Yeah, I'm a feminist. I believe in equal rights and opportunities for men and women. Absolutely.
What did you think about the Minister for Women who said she wasn't a feminist?
Well, that's up to her to determine what she is. But I think that at the end of the day, for me, feminism is about working towards equal opportunities for men and both women. But also I think what feminism needs to do is celebrate diversity. And just because I look a certain way or you look a certain way, and if you believe in those principles, doesn't mean that you believe in them any less or more
Trevor,
than somebody else.
Are you a feminist?
Yes, I am.
Yay!
And Wallace, when I first ran for Parliament, Muldoon was the Prime Minister and Jim Macleay, the Deputy Prime Minister, was the Minister for Women's Affairs.
Who? And Jim Macleay?
Jim Macleay.
Wow.
And he was the Deputy Prime Minister. Now we've got Louise Upston and she's outside the Cabinet and I'm not sure we've made much progress.
All right. That could be a good tweet, actually. Look, Marama, are you a feminist?
Absolutely. I was a young liberated woman of the 80s. And you know what? I've changed my view of what feminism is now. To me, the ultimate expression of feminism is to be a stay-home mum and that be okay. Because if you want to do that, or if you want to be a corporate wife, or you want to be whatever, that has to be okay. And so let's not judge anybody for the choices that they make.
We'll go to Hayley very shortly, but James, yeah, that's a good point. What about you? Are you a feminist, James?
Yeah, look, if feminism is the quaint notion that men and women are somehow equal and that they ought to be treated as such, then yes, I am.
All right, Hayley, let's go to you.
Yes, I'm here with Sue Kedgley. She's been a Green Party MP and she's been here since the start of the women's liberation movement. How has feminism changed?
Well, I mean, back in the early days of women's liberation, women had no choices really whatsoever. There are now huge possibilities and opportunities for women. There was institutional discrimination. We've changed a lot of laws. But I think we were naive because we thought that if we introduced a law or we pointed out the discrimination, somehow that would be enough. So we passed the Equal Pay Act 44 years ago today, well, this year, and we thought, well, hey, women will be paid equally now. And of course, 44 years later, we're still earning 14% less than men. And a woman who graduates from university, in her first year after graduation, she will be earning 6 to 8% less than men. I mean, what is going on?
What is going on? I mean, I know it's a complex issue, but how is this happening now still, 2016?
Well, I think the thing is that you can change laws, but it's a much deeper and more difficult to change attitudes. And we do need to remember too that women have been discriminated against and assumed to be inferior in every society, every religion, every culture in the world throughout all of history. So we can't expect to change all of those attitudes overnight. It's almost in our DNA. But it has taken much longer than we ever envisaged back in those early days those early heady days of women's liberation.
Have you experienced discrimination in your life?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, to give you an example, my first ever job was at Checkpoint, the radio program Checkpoint. And they said, oh, women can't be broadcasters, can't be on air because their voices aren't as good as men's or they're not deep enough. So no women were it was a trivial example, but of how it was. It was just assumed that women were inferior to men, that men were superior, and we were conditioned and brought up to believe that our role in life was to catch a man, God forbid that you became a spinster because you couldn't catch a man, and then your life was to be looking after the man and subordinating yourself to that man.
Marama said that's something you should be proud of nowadays too. Do you agree with her?
Absolutely agree with her. Choice and opportunities and possibilities. We shouldn't be judging anyone, really, for the choice that they make.
What about David Seymour? He's come out and said that we've got it too good now and there should be a ministry for men.
These poor men, are they finding it tough running the nation, running our corporations? They could step aside and let women take over and run the cabinet and run the parliament. And another suggestion would be that Louise Nicholas and her team comes in and talks to David Seymour, gives some Feminism 101 training, and indeed perhaps the entire Parliament could have some unconscious bias Feminism 101 training. I think they need it.
MPs
Good
like
on
that.
you, Sue. Sue, thank you very much, and I know that David Seymour watches this show. So David, there's something for you to think about. Maybe you could bring Louise Nicholas in. What, amazing, isn't it? Checkpoint. You couldn't get on the air because your voice wasn't deep enough. What do you think about what Sue said there?
Yeah, I agree. I think that there's a lot of work to be done.
Have you been discriminated against as a woman?
Yes, yeah, I have. Well,
How?
for example, when I ran for selection, the party people said to me, "You've got 2 children. What business do you have going off to Wellington to run the country? You should be at home looking after your kids."
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Party people said that?
Yeah.
Wow.
And what did you say?
I said, "I have every business running the country, and I'll prove to you why." And went away and lobbied, and I made it here. So
Well done, well done. Here's the deal, right? Here's the deal, what Sue was saying. What's the deal about this pay gap? Okay, so you got, what is it, in New Zealand? It's 14.2%, the difference. So if you look at...
27% if you're a Māori woman. We've got to break the bush ceiling before you even get to the glass ceiling. I'm serious. Look, I went along to the little pink cake day where from that day on, all women were working for free. And when on my way there, I said to my office, "I'm off to eat the cake with the women, yay." And one of the guys in my office said, "Marama, you're Māori, you've been working for free since last year." It's a thing. It's a thing.
So what do you make of it, James? The pay gap, either 27% for Māori or 14.2% across the board. What's your theories on this?
And it's also as bad as it's been in New Zealand for 10 years. The gap is actually as bad as it's been for 10 years. This is actually a place where government can take a leadership role. First of all, the pay gap in the public service is actually worse than it is in the general population. So we could start by sorting out the public service and show some leadership there. And we could get some transparency into corporate reporting about pay between men and women in businesses, because when you start to bring this kind of information into the light, people start asking questions and saying, well, what can we do to improve
All right,
this?
got to move on here. I'm breaking the bush ceiling before you get to the glass ceiling. Pretty cool quote there. Stay with us, more to come.